Okay, so this is a video that I've been wanting to make for a long time because this is a common occurrence that I see within the clients that I'm working with, and just in general. Like I said, our agency and our business takes over 20 calls every single day with different people, whether that just be for information, like they have questions, or they're legitimately interested in working with us. And I think this is one of the biggest things that all ballers, specifically in North America, but just in general outside of the European Middle East system, need to realize now. So, like I said, our agency this past couple months has um, gained access to first to third division clubs all around the Middle East in Qatar, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, and also on the other end in Europe and Sweden, Portugal, Spain, Croatia, Denmark, Belgium. So, we're starting to see a lot more things and more people reach out to us. And this is something that I think that a lot of people can benefit from. So, like I said, the number one thing, everyone that reaches out to us, they want to go pro, right? That's the number one thing that they're looking after. That's their dream, right? And the number one problem that I see, right, is that people are miseducated. And what I mean by that is we're gonna go into the highest percentages of everything, right? So number one, if your goal is legitimately to go pro, you have to the first step is understanding the positives and the negatives of being in North America, right? Okay, so let's talk about. We'll go into the negatives first. The main negatives. So number one being that the level, and only people can critique this that have played in Europe before. If you have played legitimately in a professional European academy like I have with a direct team, you'll know that the level there is nothing compared to anything that you'll see in North America. It doesn't matter if it's NCAA, doesn't matter if it's whatever. The only thing that can come slightly close to that level is MLS. Okay? MLS Next Academy. So let's talk about Canada, for example. There's over 30 million people in Canada, and there's two academies in that whole place of 30 million. So think about that, right? And let's just say each academy takes 30 people for each age group, right? From under 14, let's say under 10 to the first team, right? So let's say the whole staff, the whole squad limit for all of the players, every squad has 30, let's say 200. So each academy takes 200 players from their under 10 all the way to the first team. They take 200 players, right? So that's 201 in Canada, right? There's only two MLS teams. So that's 201 team and 200 in another. So every other academy in Canada is not credible, and I promise you this. If and every baller that has played, for example, in Canada knows this too. That's the only level. Anything under that in youth development is not going to get you truly developed. 1 year of playing professional in, as I'm sure my bowlers have played in MLS too. One season of playing there is like 5 years of playing anywhere else in Canada. Now it's the same thing with Europe too. So what I'm trying to get at here is that you have to understand that there's a lot of players that you might. It doesn't always have to come down to skill. Like I said, if there's 200 people, 200 spots open for the amount of 30 million people, it doesn't matter sometimes, even if you're that good, there genuinely just isn't enough space. So the sooner that you go over to Europe, the sooner that you make that investment and go over there, there are academies and professional clubs. And like I said, the people that have lived there and have played there, like myself, know this. Every other street that you cross, there's a professional academy that trains twice a day, has proper methodology, knows what they're talking about. The coaches, when you lose a game, don't sleep for the weekend after because they legitimately care about you, bro. In Canada, up till MLS Next, the coaches haven't even played pro. You cannot imagine trying to learn how to become an entrepreneur and how to become a professional, like whatever in business, from a guy that drives a Toyota. You can't do that. And it's like, think about that. Imagine learning from someone that hasn't even played professional. It doesn't make sense. So the sooner you get into the system, the easier it is for your development. And this is the big, what I'm going to address here is the biggest problem, right? So when I was younger, I didn't really know this. And me and one of my friends, we went over to Spain. We went on a trial. And the experience was really, really good. But at the time, we thought that it wasn't really that. it was kind of a waste just because of the fact that we were under 18. And at the time that we didn't know is that you can't get really like a paid salary under 18 if you don't have an EU passport. And that's kind of what our main focus was on, right? But this is the biggest problem. So ballers now are realizing this and they're like, oh, I'm going to wait till I'm 18 to go over to Europe. Brother, I promise you this when I'm telling you. Every single year that you don't go into a European academy is every single year players your age are in a European academy. The competition becomes harder every single year. And I tell this to my clients, I tell this to my clients' parents every time. The sooner that you can get into a European system, by European system, I mean like a professional system, which there is nothing, there's close to 1%. There's a complete shortage of that in North America, okay? Especially in Canada and America, it's a little bit better, but still. Nothing like MLS, I'm saying, is up to par, but it's still not that level. So the two best places that we also have direct connections with, I'm telling you right now, originally it was just Europe, but now somewhere that's coming up that's very, very, very even still underrated is, like I said, the Middle East. They have some of the best development academies over there that come into the direct first team, and it's very, very professional area. Now, what I'm getting at is I tell this to my parents and my clients all the time. The sooner that your kid or you yourself, bro, the sooner you go over to one of these places, the better it is for your development, bro. And coaches, right? When you are 12 to, I want to say 16, 12 to 16, coaches not only look at just your skill right now, they look at your development and your potential. That's the main thing. So a coach, when they're analyzing you, when you're 12 to 16, they also look at, one of the main things they look at is, what is this player gonna look like in 2-3 years now? What, not just what he looks like right now. Do we see a potential in him? But after 18, bro, they don't look at what this guy's gonna look like in 4 years from now. No, bro. There's people that are 18 playing in the first team of Barcelona. No, they look at how you are now, and you never got that development. So then you waited until you're 18, went over to a European academy, and you're like, oh my god, like they're not picking me because of this, that. It's, bro, because it's very, 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 I'm telling you this right now, it's the subpar of like 1% of people coming over from Canada and getting and landing a trial over, landing a contract in Europe. I'm telling you, bro, it's so rare because of the fact that these people don't understand that you need to get into an academy as soon as you can, into a professional development system. So what I would recommend for the first group of players that are 18 and up, the number one thing that you can do is actually not go over to Spain or not going over to Europe. A lot of the time, the best option might be somewhere lower, like our connections that we have over in Egypt, over in Malaysia, over in some of the places in Middle East in the lower divisions, where you can go there first, right? The main goal is you sign professional, get into the transfer market, and then from there onwards, you have a reputation, and it will be a lot easier for us as an agency to get you a trial. One of our clients right now playing in on a trial with the Dubai First Division team, very, very good club. I can't disclose the details, but the only reason that we were able to land this opportunity for him was because of the fact that he had prior professional academy experience, and he literally moved out for 1 year. I'm not gonna, like I said, disclose the details, but he had that experience. So then with that, we were able to land him a very, very good trial, right? And it's the same case with you guys. So 18 and up, the best thing that you can do, and which we can help you guys with, is get into a lower level, 3rd to 2nd division club, somewhere like that. Now, with the younger people, and like I said, I think we went over the negatives. The only positives, like I would say, in terms of football, there's honestly, like, I think there's very, very minimal. I can't even think of any positives of playing in America. It's like the sooner you can get out of that system, if you're legitimately trying to go professional, the better it is for you. But why overseas can actually be easier, like I said, is because people don't understand this. They all also think that Europe is like really, really hard, but the standard is harder. But for people that are 12 to 16, it's actually easier, because I'm telling you, when you have 200 spaces for a country that has 30 million people, and in America it's like triple that, but like whatever, they have more. Obviously MLS is primarily in America, right? So there's more teams in basically every city or close to every city, but it's still not enough. Like, there's not enough to feed the players. And like I said, a lot of the cases, yeah, they do good scouting, but I'm telling you this, bro, there's a lot of players that it's like, when you have that, but then you also have another place in the world where it's like, not only is like, the thing is, MLS is the La Liga compared to the La Liga of America. It's the first division. But in Spain, for example, all the way up to the fourth division is like, the fourth division academy players can a lot of the time like ball out, bro. Like, they're up to par with a lot of the, and like I said, if you haven't played there, you can't judge this. It's for my people that have actually played in that fourth to third division in Spain specifically. It's the training, I would say, is probably even better than a lot of MLS Next academies. Like, it's up to par there. So with that being said, it's like you have 20 teams, let's just say, in every single division, all the way to fourth division. That's 80 teams. That's 80 teams. So you have 80 teams, and then also private academies, and then also, so it's like you have so much more open slots available. So it's like, if you're at that base level, if you're playing and you know that you're good in North America, bro, it's like there's so many more spots available. It's like, bro, you will find a team. Maybe not first division, maybe not second division, but you will find a team that is under that professional academy system. And from 12 to 16, the sooner you can get into that system, it will be the best for you. Anything under, I said, MLS Next is completely horrible for your development. Anything under that, from 12 to 16. There isn't a single club in Canada under that is good for your development. And even that, like I said, if you want to take it to the next level, bro, if you're already one of the best players on your team, like I said, in MLS Next, for example, from 12 to 17, you have to get out of Europe if you're genuinely serious about going and playing professional in Europe. Like I said, that's why it's a common theme. Like I said, in MLS Next, 99% of the players, they go and play college, right? Because they waited until they're 18, and then by that time, 99% of the time, there's obviously, bro, like rare occurrences, but 99% of the time, by then it's too late, because you're playing against people that have been playing since they're 10, right? And if you have to be very good and be able to adapt and improve in that short period to be able to compete with those people, right? So with that being said, like I said, now we're getting into the routes, right? The only way, especially like I said, if you haven't played professional, if you're not on the transfer market and you aren't even on the MLS Next, the only way that you can get into one of these teams directly is through an agency, like our agency. And you have to be willing to invest in yourself, like I said, at the end of the day. The highest possibility of you getting, like, I'm telling you this right now, you guys can try. Like I said, most of you guys, like when I was at that age too, it's impossible. The only way that you can get into one of these academies is if you are willing, number one, to invest in yourself in the beginning, because to get into a direct opportunity with a direct Spanish trial, with a direct trial in Dubai, in Qatar, in Belgium, in Croatia, in these top leagues, you have to have an agent to bring there for you. And that's why I'm here, to give you that direct opportunity, like I said. And like I said, the number one goal for our agency for players to 12 to 16 is breaking them into a professional academy. The sooner the better, so then they can get into that next level and get stopped behind. Because I think that the biggest problem in America and Canada football is that I think 40 to 50% of the players that are there, if they were in a European academy when they were younger, instead of waiting until they were 18, they would be somewhere right now that they wouldn't even be able to fathom. Like, I genuinely mean that. Including myself. I managed to, like I said, I was in a Spanish academy, third division, in a club called CD Numancia. But even me, if I had went to that club when I was 15, 14, it would have been the best thing for my, like, but obviously I didn't know that, right? So that's why I'm here to tell you guys that. But like I said, and you don't, like I said, another common thing is that people say that you need a European passport. That's the only way you can play in Europe. Our agency, we have consultants and lawyers and people that can do stuff for the right players, like I said, and we can get you into a Spanish team, no problem. Doesn't matter. Now, regarding, one part of it is that is true, is that, you can't get paid, but you can play there. With our connections, we can set that up for you. So if it is something that you're looking to do, and if you're over 18, like I said, the number one thing that we would recommend, if you haven't played professional, you're not on the transfer market, would be to go, for us, our main objective is first for you to sign pro and get on the transfer market. And how we do that is we have clubs from first to third division in Malaysia, in, like I said, Qatar, but it would probably be a lower division if you haven't played in the transfer market. And then first you get signed, play there for a year, and then who knows, it will be a lot easier for us to get you more trials with professional clubs and land deals once you've played that professional mark. So, like I said, if you resonate with this, and you want to work with us, like I said, we have a big team of people, of lawyers, setters, like people that, like I said, we have very, very high connections now within the past 2 months with a lot of clubs. And honestly, we're at the point where any big country, in terms of football, we have some connections there that we can set you guys up. And it doesn't matter your level. Like I said, we have opportunities for all players, the best of the best, and also players, like I said, that are 12 to 16 that aren't in a professional academy yet. Because a lot of the time, like I said, it has nothing to do with your level. It's all about the volume. Like I said, when you're dealing with a country that has 30 million people and there's only 200 spots for an actual professional academy, a lot of the time those players need to be under a system of development first. That now, like I said, obviously, there are cases where a player genuinely isn't good enough. But like I said, I know for a fact that there's at least 10,000 people in every single country that are good enough. But like I said, they're just, it isn't on their side. And that's when we come in to help you guys with that. So if this is something that you're interested to do, you guys can Instagram us. Send us a message on Instagram, and then one of our members of the team will reach out to you, and then hopefully I'll hop on the call with you, and we can start the process together. But yeah.